Only on 12 News, revisiting a group of teenagers who came together after the Gabby Gifford shooting back in 2012. A town hall with Justice Sandra Day O'Connor was a lesson in civics for all of us.
The teens were considered champions of civil discourse and wrote award-winning essays about getting along in a democracy. Now, 13 years later, we caught up with some of those kids to find out if they're still hopeful today and what's changed for them. 12 News journalist Joe Dana joins us with that story. And Joe, what was it like reconnecting with some of these Arizonans?
Well, I'll tell you what, it was both inspirational but also surprising. We caught up with about half of them, and most of those we did talk to, they had some wonderful things to say about why they're still hopeful, ways that their views have changed over the last 10 or 15 years with life, but most of them didn't want to be on record. They didn't want to show their face. They didn't want their names out there again. And that goes to something that is a big problem, and we've talked to people about this as well in this story, which is that a lot of people are just concerned to express opinions in general. They don't almost even want to be part of this climate right now. And we did talk to one young man, though, who he's now 30, and he's got his own family, and he did discuss sort of why he does believe we're still a very strong country and why he believes our differences are our strengths. Take a listen.
I feel like with my life experiences, I've learned some things of I have a son, so I've gone through the whole how do we approach abortion laws? We want America to be great together.
Great together.
Yes. We're great together. We're great because of the people that are in it, because of our differences.
And that 30-year-old right there, he describes himself as a conservative centrist. Mm-hmm. And he echoes something that we also heard from a couple of the experts we spoke to. One of the experts, Ron Barber, who was injured in the Gabby Gifford shooting, right? He leads an organization now in Arizona with a Republican, and together they talk about the importance of democracy. And one of the things they say is, get the extremism out of here. When you have such extremism that is becoming more and more of part of the game in politics, you are heading down a road that leads to nowhere and destruction and more strife and divisions.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to the middle. Everybody, I mean, there were always extremists on both sides, but not to the extent that it is now. Mm-hmm. And all of what I thought was the majority of most Americans, mm-hmm. they were moderate Republicans, moderate Democrats, centrists. They have either gravitated to one end or the other, or they're afraid to say what they feel, just as you encountered.
Yeah, which is one reason why a lot of people are recommending we change the way we do our partisan elections when you talk about the primaries. And, there's solutions that are being proposed to try to sort of temper down the temperature here, because we are in some very unusual times. And so, and regarding how we came up with this story, we've got actually a team, and they look up into the archives, and they have our streaming show on 12 Plus. This is what we call the archives, and it's look back at some of our best coverage over the years, seminal moments here in the Valley and around Arizona. So our digital producer, Kyra Trent, she began tracking down some of the kids from that special. And really, there are a couple of other telling moments in it that we'll have coming up at 6:30 in terms of sort of what they had to say now compared to then.
And I think it's just, a sad state of affairs that the people feel afraid to speak their mind, when it used to not be like that.
It's the doxing, right? Mm-hmm. It's the villainization of people, simply maybe for calling themselves a Democrat or a Republican, and it's the online bullying.
I was going to say, but they're certainly not shy online, right?
Yeah,
you can stay anonymous.
Exactly.
Those who can stay anonymous, yes. So
but you hope that, after what has happened, mm-hmm. With Charlie Kirk, his death and everything like that, and just people's right to speak and their freedom to speak, that it's just that maybe we would gravitate back to just being respectful and remembering that everybody has a right to think, say, feel how they want without feeling like their lives depended on it.
And we should still be able to be friends at the end of the day, despite
Agree
our
to
differences.
disagree.
Yes.
And none of us should stand for platforming violent rhetoric that edges towards violence or towards the idea of us versus them, good versus evil. All of this is, existential. That's the kind of rhetoric that only makes the problem worse.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. Fascinating.
Good discussion.
And,
All right.
and I think you're just beginning to scratch the surface here of a
Yeah.
major problem in this country. Joe, good stuff. Thank you.